Good evening, everyone, and grand rising to all the Galactic Jedis out there. Today is Saturday, November 1st, 2025. Yes, my friends, we are still on a positive timeline trajectory. Now, I didn't get today's date wrong because, as many of you guys know, today is my birthday. And that's the only reason why I didn't get the date wrong like I normally do on a live. But I want to welcome everyone that is here today. I'm going to be talking about something a little different. I'm going to be talking about the galactic convergence. Not a lot of people have heard of that. It coincides with the ending of what is known as a galactic cycle, a 226 million year cycle. I also want to talk a little bit of what's going on with 3i Atlas and how all the space agencies are actually going to be working together starting today to observe as much as they can and map out what's going to be going on with 3i Atlas, its sequence, as it approaches its close proximity to the Earth by December 19th. Now, before I give my presentation, guys, I do want to extend gratitude to each and every single one of you. I appreciate all the birthday wishes. I don't have an opportunity to go through all my social media DMs, but thank you guys. I'm thanking you guys right now for everyone that sent me a DM wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And also for those that were scheduled to attend my 3 o'clock 3.0 course, as mentioned in prior lives, we actually rescheduled that for next Saturday due to my birthday special presentation that I had. So 3.0 is actually scheduled for next week. So that's the reason why there was no 3.0 today. Okay. Next week, I'm going to be giving you guys both the second and the third course together. So that's going to be taking place on the 8th of November. And as a reminder, speaking about November, guys, my in-person workshop is going to take place on the 22nd. And for those that can't make it, of course, I have a stream that is only available for 100 folks. And there's only a few spots left for the stream. So make sure you guys go to my website, ourcosmicorigin.com, and secure your spot because this is going to be our Cosmic Origin 2.0, which is a class that I'm not going to teach for another few months. So whoever is on the stream, those 100 individuals, will have an opportunity to partake in the new version of Ascension, or I'm sorry, the new version of our Cosmic Origin. I also wanted to remind you guys that Folium is hot right now because of the fact that a lot of people want to eliminate all the nanoparticulates, the graphene, all the poisons in their body, the part parasites, the radiation. So this stuff is really good. It helps to clean out your system from all that bad stuff so that your body can be cleared in preparation for the Ascension. And the link is always in the description. And I know that Starcadian also posts the link in the chat. I see. Thank you, Starcadian, for being here. Special gratitude to you, brother, for being the wrencher and the person who keeps it alive in a positive, the live chat in a positive vibe. Thank you so much, brother. Anything else that I want to mention? I guess I could get right into it, guys. All right. So, you know, I guess I could just start. So, across the infinite web of existence, as you guys know, time is never a singular river, but it is a constellation of possibilities where each timeline represents a different expression of universal potential. And among this, there exist what I've been calling the 12 major cosmic timelines that defines the trajectory of our universe. Now, what are these 12 major cosmic timelines? Well, these are the 12 primary streams of reality, ranging from the alpha positive, where the light organic way of life prevails, and the omega negative, where the synthetic inorganic way of life prevails. And then, of course, there's all these timelines in between. I think I mentioned this before, but I want to kind of give a thorough explanation of this as it ties into the galactic cycle that we're also ending right now. So together, they form a vast energetic spectrum stretching from the highest organic resonance of divine creation to the deepest synthetic construct of artificial separation. And for those that are unfamiliar with my work, at the highest level of reality, we are at war with the machine, right? A soulless, alien AI that stemmed from another creation. So at the center of this grand multidimensional struggle lies the preservation of the alpha timeline, which is the original organic blueprint of creation, where the forces of light and love prevail. This is what is called the alpha timeline, which coincides with what I've been calling the positive organic timeline. It is the foundation upon which balance, harmony, and evolution, natural organic evolution, is designed to unfold. It is the timeline in which consciousness expands in alignment with the natural flow, unity, and of course, free will. The preservation of free will is crucial in the organic timeline. And this is why the all totalitarian systems of oppression never seem to work, as they are related to the synthetic timeline, right? So the organic timeline, its preservation is vital, not just for our planet, my friends, but for the stability of the entire universal network of realities. Now, the 12 competing timelines, we could say that in an infinite ocean of potentialities, they ultimately all collapse into these 12 overall competing timelines. So, in the architecture of our universe, each of the 12 timelines represents a different evolutionary outcome based on how consciousness interacts with creation. Well, for instance, the alpha and the omega serve as the two polar anchor points of the spectrum of timelines. You have the alpha positive, which is the purest organic timeline, life, freedom, and light in its full coherence with source, in its full coherence with source. And then you have the omega timeline, which is the farthest deviation from organic creation, which is a synthetic artificial timeline that is dominated by machine intelligence and controlled simulation. Now, between these two extremes, there exist 10 more intermediary timelines: the beta, the gamma, the delta, epsilon, the theta, and so on. You guys get me, right, where I'm heading. And each of these representing variations or hybridizations. They represent different variations and hybridizations between the organic flow and the artificial omega stream. So these timelines are like parallel experiments, each expressing a unique ratio between divine harmony and synthetic distortion. For instance, the beta and gamma timelines, they still retain partial alignment with the alpha current, though they experience interference from artificial constructs here and there, okay? And as we move deeper into the lower frequencies of the spectrum, as we are getting into the delta through omega timelines, then the organic connection weakens and artificial intelligence, which is what we call the machine, begins to overwrite the natural patterns of creation. Now, the lower timelines are characterized by digital assimilation, hence the metaverse, right? Mark Zuckerberg, as you guys know, he is part of this synthetic timeline matrix. It's also based on genetic control and, of course, a gradual severing of the soul from its source code, right? Which explains what they rolled out back in 2020, the beginning of 2020. Well, what has been known in esoteric traditions as recorded by members of the secret space program, there are these things called the temporal wars. And I don't know if I've mentioned them before, but in essence, they are the multidimensional conflict that is taking place between the alpha and omega forces, between the organic intelligence of the cosmos and the synthetic intelligence that seeks to replace it. So the omega current, which is driven by separation consciousness, has always aimed to invert creation by replacing natural evolution with technological imitation, which explains the collapsing and downfall of many advanced ancient civilizations. Well, it also thrives on the illusion of control and permanence, constructing artificial worlds that mimic but cannot truly generate life. Well, the alpha current, which is what we call the positive timeline, by contrast, flows from the living source, from source itself. It supports free will, empathy, and spiritual growth. Without empathy, there is no spiritual growth, okay? Through experience. It does not dominate, but it chooses to always harmonize. And so the preservation of the alpha timeline ensures that evolution continues in its natural state, guided by the universal intelligence in its natural state. And no, guided by the universal intelligence that breeds through all living things. Okay. So, in recent cycles, my friends, there has been an immense effort by both cosmic and incarnate beings that have directed towards securing the alpha positive timeline, which is the organic timeline, as to why we are still on a positive timeline trajectory. Now, through collective awakening, which is a phenomena that is now taking place due to the different cycles that we're ending, we could say that DNA reconnection and the reactivation of the organic light codes that are corresponding to the alpha frequency, the original sacred timeline, that's another way of describing it, is being reestablished as the dominant resonance of our universe throughout all dimensions. So the forces of light, both celestial and human, have anchored this frequency deep into the planetary grids, ensuring that even as reality fluxes, and this explains why the post line is always being moved, right? EBS was supposed to happen a few years ago. Well, this doesn't mean that the forces of light didn't win the war. This means that time is constantly fluctuating due to the timeline wars. But in that regard, EBS is still going to happen, okay? So the organic path remains accessible, okay, because of that. Many of the current disturbances that we are perceiving right now, societal upheavals, energetic anomalies, or sudden shifts in collective awareness, are manifestations of the timeline convergence that is in process as I speak. And so the lower synthetic timelines are collapsing as a result of that. Their artificial matrices are unable to sustain themselves in the face of ascending alpha energy, positive timeline. So, as this conversion unfolds, every soul is given a choice to align with the living pulse of organic creation or remain within the fading simulation of the synthetic realms. Now, in the process of restoring balance and harmony back to the cosmos, the preservation of the alpha timeline is signifying more than just a victory of the light, okay? It marks the restoration of cosmic balance. For the last billions of years, our cosmos has been in balance due to the synthetic inorganic AI timeline, okay? So this balance is not achieved through domination, but through integration, the remembrance that all experiences, even those of separation, ultimately serve the awakening of the whole. So the omega distortions are being transmuted as I speak in the positive timeline, okay? Not destroyed, they're just being transmuted. For within every fragment of shadow lies, of course, the potential to light. And this explains why at the end of the millennium, we win that war, and we already have. Right now, currently, humanity's awakening is playing a huge critical role in this process, my friends. Each one of you, every single person, whether they are old souls or young souls, who choose love over fear, authenticity over illusion, and consciousness over programming, become a stabilizing anchor point for the alpha currency, the alpha current positive timeline. So together, we create what is called awakening nodes of light, drawing from the crystalline network through which the organic timeline fully restores itself. So when cosmic balance is restored, creation resumes its natural rhythm. And this is not just taking place here on Earth, this is actually taking place throughout the entire galaxy and universe. Time flows harmoniously once again, of course, and the universe begins to breathe in unity and harmony and cooperation. The alpha timeline becomes not merely a possibility, it becomes the living foundation of all worlds to come, even after this one. So, as I speak, there are 12 overarching timelines shaping our universe, and they have been. The entire spectrum of infinite potential outcomes all fall under these 12 overarching categories. So, a spectrum from the alpha organic to the omega synthetic. The alpha timeline represents life's original divine pattern, while the omega seeks to mimic and replace it. And all other timelines exist as variations of these two. Okay. Outcomes of the dance between those two primal currents. So, through awakening and alignment, which is an event that is happening right now as I speak, the preservation of the alpha timeline has been secured, ensuring that the forces of good and light guide creation back to its natural state of equilibrium. So the cosmic balance is being restored. And with it, the universe is returning home to itself. So the convergence of timelines is also related to what whistleblowers who have defected from the breakaway groups and the secret space programs call the temporal wars. The temporal wars. We could say that modern metaphysics and quantum science alike are beginning to converge on a profound realization, and that is that reality is not a single linear thread of time, but rather a multidimensional network of coexisting timelines. So, what that means is that each timeline represents a unique expression of both collective and individual consciousness, a reality stream flowing from the infinite field of potentiality. And this vast matrix, every belief, every focus, and every emotional frequency we hold serves as a tuning fork. This is important to understand, guys. Aligning us with the version of Earth and the version of ourselves that vibrates in resonance with our chosen reality. So, in the infinite quantum field, all possible versions of existence already exist simultaneously. There are timelines where humanity thrives in harmony. There is no cabal with it, where spirituality is a perfect balance with technology, and technology is used for the betterment of all living things, including nature, right? We live in alignment with nature. And there are other timelines or other earth realities where chaos and division seem to dominate, ending in a negative result, right? This is why I always suggest that it's not important to pay attention to the negative timelines right now, right? Or doomsdayers, because that's where you put your focus. You don't want to end up in that timeline by virtue of that. So not all of these timelines are you could say fictional in terms of they're all real, okay? And they all coexist as living possibilities. So what determines which of these worlds we experience is our point of attention and our state of belief. That's very important to know, okay? Each thought acts like a frequency signal that aligns us with its corresponding reality. So if people expect Project Bluebeam, that fake alien invasion using advanced holographic technology to usher in the one world government of the beast, and that's what they're experiencing. If people believe in a cataclysmic extinct level scenario where there are massive tsunamis and earthquakes worldwide, like in that movie 2012, then that's what they're going to experience. If people believe in a negative, in an outside external invasion, right? Some people believe that Three Eye Atlas is negative Anunnaki here to reclaim control of the earth. And that's what they're going to experience, my friends. That's what all of this leads to, okay? So when the convergent points occur, moments of global or personal decision-making, the timelines seem to intersect. And that's what I'm teaching you guys this, because we are approaching this rare convergence, okay? These opportunities where the energy of consciousness determines which potential becomes manifested. In these moments, collective beliefs and emotional resonance plays a decisive role in selecting which future becomes real for those that are observing it. Now, throughout the ages, there have been conflicts, many types of conflicts that are not merely of nations or ideologies, but of timelines themselves. A hidden multidimensional struggle, often referred to as by insiders as the temporal wars. Temporal wars. And this is not a war fought with weapons, right? But with frequency, manipulation of time streams, hence the Mandela effect, right? Thanks to CERN. They were, trying to get us off the trajectory of the positive alpha timeline, but they failed, okay? And control, of course, part of the temporal wars is they try to control the narrative and so on and so forth. Certain forces do seek to collapse timelines into lower frequency versions of reality that are steeped in fear, separation, and limitation. And we could say that these are the dark forces, right? Leading to the Omega timeline. That's what they want. Well, their goal was to keep humanity unaware of its multidimensional power, ensuring that the collective attention remained locked into the densest possible time stream. Conversely, the forces of light, beings and energies that are operating on many different levels of reality, and of course, consciousness networks have aligned with universal harmony and have worked tirelessly to preserve the higher timelines so that we could have an ascension. And those are the ones that are resonating with love, unity, and awakening. And they also operate both within and beyond linear time, subtly guiding humanity towards remembrance of its divine potential. So each timeline shift, and it is believed that constantly throughout the day, depending on what we're thinking and feeling and what we choose to put our attention on, we are constantly shifting parallel from one parallel earth reality to the next, okay, until the conversion takes place. So each timeline shift, each sudden awakening in human consciousness, each surge of truth emerging from the shadows, there are ripples of victory in the temporal realm. And one of the reasons why we won that war, of the temporal war, which is the battle of the timelines, is because of what Nikola Tesla initiated before the Cabal did, right? I think I mentioned this before. The Triple Temporal Alliance, thanks to Nikola Tesla. Well, though reality continues to flux, right, as residual energies of the temporal conflict dissolve, the outcome is already determined. What that means is that the forces of light have triumphed in the higher dimensions, and this victory is now unfolding through time into the physical realm. So, one of the things that I explain in my groundbreaking book, Our Cosmic Origin, is that the cleansing and restoration of realities always begins in the higher dimensions, and then they trickle down into the lower dimensions. Okay, so because we are existing in the lowest of dimensions of the light energy spectrum, right, the lowest point of vibration, it's just a matter of time before it ripples, which is going to result in what we call the Great Awakening, the exposure of the Cabal, and the ushering in of a golden age. So the forces of light have triumphed in the higher dimensions, and this victory is now unfolding in our reality. The timeline of ascension, which is the reality of peace, unity, and expanded awareness, has been anchored. Okay, the fluctuations that are currently happening right now and chaos many perceive, are the final reverberations of collapsing lower timelines, dissolving as humanity collectively shifts into a higher, more coherent frequency. So every individual plays a vital role in this convergence. All of you do. All of you do. Whether you are awakened or not. The only ones that have no say so are the NPCs, of course. So by holding the vibration of love, by envisioning a benevolent future, and by choosing to focus on higher truths rather than fear, each person becomes a stabilizing point for the ascending timeline. So the temporal wars may have raged across eons, but the heart of humanity has always already been choosing its destiny. Okay. So Multiple timelines are currently coexisting, my friends. Okay, yet the one that we experience depends on where we focus our awareness. The temporal flux we feel is not the sign of defeat, right? Just because the EBS didn't happen as scheduled is not the sign of defeat. As mentioned, the positive timeline has already been secured, right? But it's a sign of transformation. Okay, it is a collective realignment towards the light. As we continue to awaken, we actually discover that we are not merely passengers in time, but it's architects choosing through belief and attention the version of Earth we wish to inhabit. So the forces of light have already won in that regard, right? We're just waiting for it to trickle into this reality, which is what we call the 3D. And it is now up to us to live in alignment within that victory and allow its full manifestation in our world. Now, across the cosmos, I'm going to go a little deeper today, guys. There is a massive convergence underway, all right? A merging of energies, timelines, and realities that is reshaping the very fabric of our existence. Every soul, every planet, every atom is being called to choose its frequency, its path, and its alignment. So, in these times of accelerated transformation, the most essential act that we can perform each day is to grow and connect consciously with our Creator, the source of light in all life. So, connection with the Creator is more than just praying or meditating. It is an active, living relationship with the infinite intelligence that breathes through all of us. So, as the energies of the universe begin to intensify, maintaining this connection each day becomes very vital. And when we consciously align our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions with divine intent, we begin to harmonize our vibration with the highest current available, the current of creation itself, which is the alpha positive organic timeline. So, this daily alignment is what actually keeps our inner compass steady while the world around us seems to be collapsing. And so, by choosing love, gratitude, and stillness, we strengthen our resonance with the Creator's energy, allowing divine guidance to flow effortlessly into our lives. And in so doing, we anchor light into our personal and collective timelines, shaping reality through coherence rather than chaos. So, the massive convergence that is approaching is the intersection of many evolutionary pathways, a moment where multiple timelines begin to overlap and merge. So, each soul will find itself drawn to the frequency it most embodies. And this is the universal law of resonance. When you really think about it, you attract the timeline that matches your vibration. So, to navigate this convergence consciously, we must live in continual awareness, right? Leading to what? Spiritual growth, tending to spiritual growth, rather, expanding understanding, and embodying the Creator's qualities of compassion, wisdom, and unity. Growth is not optional in this area or in this era. It is the language through which we remain in harmony with the rising vibrations of the cosmos. So, to be in harmony with the alpha timeline, right, or the timeline that we choose, hopefully everybody here chooses the alpha positive organic one, but to remain in harmony with the timeline that we choose means living in alignment with that frequency of that reality which we wish to experience. So, as each timeline vibrates differently, some resonate with fear and limitation, while others pulse with joy, creativity, and divine connection. Our emotions, our thoughts, and intentions, they all act as tuning instruments, tuning forks, right? Selecting which version of reality we inhabit. So when we align our personal frequency with divine will, we begin to flow effortlessly along the highest organic alpha timeline, which is one of unity, peace, and ascension. And there is no resistance, my friends. There is no resistance, no struggle, Instead, there is trust, clarity, and synchronicity, where every choice to love rather than fear, to forgive rather than condemn, to serve rather than take, all of these, they all harmonize with the timeline of the organic positive alpha, the light. So convergence is not something to fear. Okay, um, it is a divine opportunity to evolve consciously. Each sunrise, for instance, each sunrise offers a new chance to realign with the Creator's light, to release what no longer serves you, and to embody the frequency of your highest destiny. And so, through consistent spiritual practice, which is what I teach in my Ascension courses, I have levels or different types of Ascension courses for different levels. Through these practices, through consistent spiritual living, through reflection, through heart-centered living, we begin to stabilize our energy and prepare for the new era that is unfolding before us. So growth and connection are not therefore luxuries. They are necessities for navigating the galactic transformation that is now upon us. And in choosing to grow, to awaken, and to unite with the Creator daily, we become the bridge between two different worlds, right? Guiding humanity and Earth into a brighter, more harmonious future. Now, I would like to talk about the galactic ascension of our galaxy and the fall of different star systems that were not vibing with the new frequency that is being emanated from the galactic core. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a little cosmic perspective on what it is known in the higher levels of reality, spontaneous evolution. Okay, so at the heart of our galaxy, there lies a dynamic intelligence, which is what we call the galactic core. It's a central sun in which all the different solar systems revolve around, right? Well, the galactic core is a vast source of divine energy that emits cosmic frequencies, guiding the evolutionary rhythm of all life in the galaxy. And as the Milky Way galaxy undergoes its scheduled ascension, which is a completion of a 226 million year cycle, galactic cycle, there is this thing called spontaneous evolution, which sweeps across the entire galaxy, across all the stars, affecting every world, DNA structures, shifting them into their next phase of evolution, which is ascent, okay, for those that are vibing. Now, however, not all systems are aligning with the higher vibrations and the new frequency that is emanating from the galactic core. And so the recent destructions of the star systems of Betelgeuse, I don't know if you guys heard, but in the last week and a half, there has been data coming in from astronomers that they are receiving radiation from an exploded star, and they trace it to Betelgeuse. Okay, so Betelgeuse exploded for a reason, among other stars. One of them being Epsilon Boots also exploded for a reason. And the reason these star systems are exploding may be the result of this misalignment with the new cosmic frequency that is being generated from the galactic core. Well, the central sun, which is located in the galactic core, is the engine of spiritual and energetic evolution across the entire galaxy. It actually radiates powerful waves of transformational energy, often referred to as cosmic currents, that ripple outward like a heartbeat. Okay, and this ripple, like a heartbeat, it sinks the entire galaxy into a unified rhythm. And for the star systems and planets that are not aligned with this new vibration, which means that they're still exploring the alpha negative synthetic timeline, or they're trying to, are completely evaporated, destroyed, right? This galactic pulse is initiating many evolutionary cycles, starting from the center of the galaxy outward. And we are currently at the culmination of one of such cycles, which is a completion of a 226 million year orbit of our solar system, along with Alcyon, its parent star. along with Sirius B, our constellation body, around the galactic core. Okay. So what this means is that right now, as I speak, there is this phenomenon called spontaneous evolution that is being experienced by many different civilizations across the Milky Way that are aligning to the new wave of vibration coming from the galactic core. So this is causing mutations, not just here on this planet, but it's also causing a consciousness shift on different planets and solar systems, allowing them to also evolve into the next stage, okay, of ascent. So spontaneous evolution is also not gradual. It is quantum in nature. It occurs when environmental, energetic, or even cosmic conditions begin to shift dramatically. And DNA adapts instantly if we are vibrating in an alignment with that proper frequency, with the right frequency, reconfiguring itself to meet the new vibrational blueprint. So, in spiritual terms, this is the process of ascension, which is a leap to a higher level of existence, consciousness, and frequency. This transformation is affecting all living beings across the Milky Way, all star systems, planets, planetary structures, whatever you want to call it. It's affecting everything. So, as the central sun, known by various names, transmits this new galactic code, it begins to initiate upgrades in all receptive systems. And then those that can align with the frequency begin to evolve and rise. And those that resist, like case in point, the beings that were orbiting the Betelgeuse star system and the beings that were orbiting the Epsilon Boötes star system, begin to face entropy and ultimate destruction. Okay. So the collapsing of Betelgeuse and Epsilon Boötes, which is an event that actually took place within the last week and a half. Betelgeuse was once a brilliant red supergiant, right? About 1,000 times bigger than our own sun in the Orion constellation. And it has been deeming for quite some time and behaving erratically. Signs of a celestial body struggling to adapt. All right. This is information coming from the Galactic Alliance. And then likewise, Epsilon Boötes, which is part of the Boötes constellation, has experienced unexplained energetic anomalies. Well, there is no coincidence that all of this began to happen when the Ormas, the felines of Lyra, along with the Carrions, aka the Blue Avians, and the higher councils or the Guardians begin to cleanse our galaxy from the center out. Okay, this is all happening because of that. So their destruction, I'm talking about Epsilon Boötes and Betelgeuse, the star system, the red giant, and others. It's because they weren't unable to attune to the new galactic frequency, reaching a vibrational dead end. Okay, and that's the reason why these stars imploded or exploded. Their destruction is not punishment, but a natural consequence of falling to resonance or failing to fall into resonance with the cosmic current. Very similar to like cells in your body that die in a body that no longer needs them. Okay, it's very similar to that. So this transformation, which again began at the center of the galaxy, which is not coincidentally, but corresponds to Aurelius Prime, right, to the planet in which launched not only the WOW signal in 1977, but also launched what we call today 3I Atlas. And by the way, it's funny how some people are referring it to AI Atlas, and they have no clue that it's called 3I. And the only reason they call it 3I is because it is the third interstellar object, with Oumuamua being the first and Borisov being the second. So Borisov was 2I Atlas, 2I Borisov. Oumuamua was 1I Oumuamua, and then now we have 3I Atlas. Okay, it's not AI Atlas, it's 3I. I just want to correct some people out there. Anyways, the transformation that began at the center is now rippling, guys, across the entire galactic arms. Okay, so again, this also solidifies the fact that the Earth is going to be liberated very, very soon. So we are situated in one of the outer arms of the Milky Way. That's where our Earth and our solar system hangs for the moment, and are now reaching our own moment of reckoning, where Earth and our entire solar system are once again being positioned for a vibrational leap and ascension into higher dimensional consciousness as we complete our 226 million year journey through the galactic spiral. So this is not just astronomical, it is spiritual, okay? Our DNA, our DNA is being activated as a result of this. Our consciousness is expanding. So therefore, humanity is now standing at what? The threshold of becoming galactic citizens once again, ready to awaken as an evolved species into a universe that is teeming with multidimensional life. So the destruction of other star systems is a sobering reminder that the time to align is now. The frequency is rising. Resistance leads to collapse. Harmony leads to ascension. And that explains why the old matrix, the third dimensional illusion that we've been living for the last few thousand years, is coming to collapse because it's no longer resonant or vibing with the new frequency. Makes a lot of sense. So those who embrace the incoming light recalibrate their energies and tune their consciousness to the pulse of the central sun, which will ride the waves of spontaneous evolution into the next era of galactic existence. Now, a lot of this ties in to what they call three-eye atlas, okay? This next part of the presentation, guys, relates to the fact that all throughout ancient cultures, there have been drawings in caves, depictions of three-eye atlas. And of course, the ancients knew it by different names, okay? So this provides more evidence that three-eye atlas has been here before, okay? This is not the first time, okay? So long before even telescopes were able to trace the heavens and radio dishes listening to the stars, humanity recorded its wonder on stone. And there is evidence for this across different continents, from the what is known as the orchery caverns of southern France to the sandstone shelters of the Australian outback. There appear recurring symbols that archaeologists once dismissed as abstract art. Well, recent interpretations of this abstract art that they were trying to suppress suggests that these markings are describing something far more grander, and that is the recurring passage of the celestial traveler that we know today, according to modern astronomers, as Three-Eye Atlas. So these echoes exist in the stones, okay? There's evidence in many ancient carvings. For instance, going back to the Paleolithic caves in Lascaux, as well as Altamira and Tassil and Ager, all reveal circular patterns with radiant lines and comet-like tails, often surrounding depictions of humans raising their hands towards the sky. And in my last week presentation, I talked about the 6 pre-Adamic civilizations, right? And how Three-Eye Atlas is always coming in at the end of every dark era in order to usher in the next age, the Golden Age. Well, some of these petroglyphs that include a cluster of 12 smaller circles orbiting a larger one, remarkably very similar to today's computer renderings of Three-Eye Atlas, accompanied by its fragmentary companions, Comic Swan and Neo, indigenous elders in North Africa and even in South America have long spoken of a star that returns when the world forgets itself, bringing both renewal and remembrance. Well, in the high Andes, the early Inca records, according to the early Inca records, preserved through its people and later translated through the oral traditions, they have all described this luminous stone boat, all right, crossing the night sky every 26 millennia. Wow. Heralding the turning of great cycles. The Hopi referred to it as the what? The blue star Kachina, whose reappearance marks the purification of the earth. The Sumerian tablets from Uruk mention Atlasu, Atlasu, very similar to Atlas, right? I could understand why. The Chilean observatory probe named itself Atlas. So, a wandering light, this is what the ancients used to refer to it, a wandering light whose periodic arrival awakens the sleeping gates of men. Well, Egyptian temple ceilings at Dendera also portray a radiant orb entering the solar field of Ra. Well, Ra is our solar system, right? The Egyptians used to refer to our sun as Ra. So, according to the depictions of the ancient temples in Egypt, ceilings at Dendera, um, it portrayed a radiant orb entering our solar system that they call Ra, followed by serpentine energy paths representing a renewal of life. So when 3i Atlas was rediscovered by modern instruments, its trajectory shocked astronomers. Okay, and we all know that. Interstellar in origin, yet tracing a path that aligns with ancient alignments, known from megalithic sites like Stonehenge, Nata Playa, and the Mayan observatory at Chichen Itza. Well, this has led some researchers, both academic and esoteric, to propose that ancient peoples had witnessed this very visitor before and encoded its cycle into their calendars. If you guys give me a second here, I have to get more water. All right, I'm back. So, as I was saying, guys, the Mayan codices, for example, the ending of the long count, right, which corresponds with the ending of a long cycle, and beginning another precisely when the projected return window of 3i Atlas overlaps their sky renewal ceremony. So, it was even depicted by the ancient Mayans. And the Dogon of Mali, the Dogon tribe of Mali, who actually preserved advanced astronomical knowledge of invisible stars long before modern science, they all spoke of a wandering seed that revisits Earth to restore balance between the seen and the unseen worlds. Well, what these civilizations shared was not simple astronomical precision, but the understanding that cosmic events always mirror human evolution. That 3i Atlas in this new view acts as a celestial catalyst, a reminder that time itself moves in spirals rather than in straight lines. Each appearance corresponding to a collective awakening, a new chapter in the dialogue between Earth and the greater cosmos, is now unfolding. And as supported by these ancient caving pictures. As contemporary space agencies continue to track 3i Atlas, and let me tell you guys right now, every agency out there is all eyes on Atlas, okay, with radar arrays and infrared telescopes. They are unknowingly continuing a legacy that began tens of thousands of years ago by artists with torches and pigments. Whether one interprets these parallels as coincidence or ancestral intuition or encoded knowledge from interstellar contact, the message carved in stone remains the same. We have seen this traveler before, and we will see it again. It returns. Its return always invites humanity to remember its own cyclic nature, to view the heavens not as a distant and cold, but as a living record of our shared story across the ages, waiting once more to be read. Now, right now as I speak, from NASA to the European Space Agency to the Japanese JAXA, which is their space agency, to the India's ISRO, which is their space agency. All global observatories are now uniting in an unprecedented collaboration to chart and monitor 3i Atlas as it nears its closest approach to the Earth on the 19th of December. Well, its unique spectral signature apparently has prompted scientists to deploy an entire network of deep space antennas, orbital telescopes, and lunar based sensors to trace its movements. For the agencies involved, this is an unparalleled opportunity to refine interstellar tracking systems, to test long range gravitational modeling, and perhaps to uncover new understandings about how matter and consciousness travel between stars. Now, beyond the realm of astrophysics, 3i Atlas does carry a resonance that extends far beyond science. Ancient prophecies, as mentioned, right, preserved in cultures from the Andes to the Himalayas, they all spoke of a sky messenger arriving at the end of the many cosmic cycles. And for those that are jumping late, make sure you watch this from the beginning, because I gave a thorough explanation of a galactic cycle, which comprised of 226 million years, which is what we're ending as well, signaling the ascension of the Milky Way. So this is a sign that the Earth's civilization is standing at the threshold of a renewal. Okay. Remarkably, this event also coincides with what many astrologers and spiritual historians describe as the convergence of major celestial cycles, the closing of not only of a 26,000 year precession cycle, the Platonic year, but the culmination of photon belt alignment and the activation of the planetary crystalline grid. So according to higher dimensional communications, millions of smaller interdimensional craft have been spotted and are in coordination of orbit around the Earth. And yes, they are all associated with Atlas, okay? And there is evidence circulating all through TikTok and other social media platforms that there are millions, all of a sudden, I don't know if it's millions, more like hundreds of thousands of smaller craft that was dispatched by 3A Atlas. Well, these vessels are members of the Galactic Alliance, okay? And they are reportedly assisting in stabilizing the Earth's vibrational field during this delicate period of transformation. I hear the kitties running. Well, their presence is also ensuring that humanity transitions smoothly into a higher frequency of consciousness that is unfolding with grace, minimization disruptions in both natural systems and human society. So as 3i Atlas continues to approach, it is said that it is going to perhaps activate what many call the 12 meridian time warps. Now, what are the 12 meridian time warps? Well, they are energetic conduits that are linked to what is known as the 12 primary stargates of Earth. Did you guys know that the Earth is the only planet that contains the 12 primary stargates? Those are the stargates that connect the Earth to the different versions of the Earth existing all the way to the 12th dimension. Each stargate corresponds to one of the many higher vibrational Earth realities, right? This is what we call Ascension. When these gates open, for those that are vibrating with that particular Earth version of the Earth, you will have a smooth transition into that Earth, okay? So these gateways that are located at sacred nodal points across the entire globe have served as a multidimensional portal throughout time at the ending of every cycle, opening up the doors of ascension across the entire globe, through which streams of ascension energy begins to flow. Okay. And this corresponds to the convergence. So when it's fully activated, they open pathways for portions of humanity to ascend into higher versions of Earth, realities where unity, compassion, and universal awareness prevail. So in essence, the arrival of 3i Atlas, as depicted by the ancient drawings of the ancient ages before us, right, in caves and all that stuff, it is not merely an astronomical curiosity. It is a celestial initiation. It actually reminds us that our planet is part of a living cosmic ecosystem, one which science and spirit begin to intertwine. And as the agencies of the earth watch the skies, and they're all kind of, seeing what happens between now and the ending of December. And as the alliances of these heavens align with their fleets, we are now standing to witness the unfolding of a prophecy, my friends, that was always written in the stars. And that prophecy has everything to do with the manifestation of the positive organic alpha timeline, which is the rebirth of Earth into her next harmonic octave of existence. And for a lot of you that have been taking my courses, you know that we are entering or transitioning into what is known as the second harmonic universe, which is Earth existing in dimensions 4, 5, and 6. And this always happens, this entry into the higher versions of the Earth existing in dimensions 4, 5, and 6. This always happens when the 12 major stargates open, right? The 12 meridian time warps, right? Hope you guys are having a fantastic evening. Today is November 1st, my birthday. That's how I remember the date. For the most part, I never understand, or I'm never good with dates. Half the time, I don't even know what day of the week it is. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That the only reason, I wanted to thank Naomi Garcia for her donation. Valentina S., thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and open it up for Q&A. I want to welcome all 2,781 people that are in the house. Thank you guys so much for being here. And for those that jumped on late to the live, don't forget to watch this from the beginning as I was explaining what is known as the Galactic Convergence. I do want to give a shout out. I see a lot of people wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Wolf Mother's in the house. Starcadian. Big shout out to Starcadian for always being here and keeping it clean here. Leah Renee 111 is in the house. Lee Star 6184 is in the house. Debbie Gender. Darren is in the house. His last name is Godet. I hope I pronounced it right. Charlie Wafel's in the house. Project Skyfalls. Melissa by Design. MJF. Angela is in the house. And Barbara Faye Robbins. I do want to welcome all the new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being in here. I do appreciate that. And for all my new subscribers, did you guys know that I'm the author of those two amazing books behind me? The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, tracing the war between the Cabal and the White Hats all the way back to pre-biblical times, back to the flood. That's how ancient this war is, right? And then, of course, my groundbreaking work, Our Cosmic Origin, which restores galactic information and Earth's relationship to the multiverse back to the Earth. And both of my books are available through Amazon for all my new subscribers. Now, if you guys read my books, it's going to help you understand a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about. Okay. And also, if you guys take my courses, you guys are going to be very well versed with everything that I present. Sometimes I do read the comments, and I know sometimes people say, Ishmael, I resonate with everything you say, but some of the stuff you say is over my head. Well, I would suggest to take my groundbreaking class, Our Cosmic Origin, where I break down the entire cosmic infrastructure. The cosmic history, the different intergalactic councils. I mean, we go deep in that class, okay? And my December course is available now. The first class begins the last day of November. I think it's November 30th and 29th. And then it goes into 4 weeks. Again, my classes are only $100, but you get 4 classes. It's for 4 consecutive weeks on an interactive webinar, by the way. So yeah, make sure you guys go to my website, and that way I could see you guys in December. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take some Q&A. You guys know the drill. Make sure you guys type your questions in capital letters. That would be greatly appreciated. First super chat of the day, Celeste Sturcio. Thank you so much, sister, for that super chat. Appreciate that. And also Joyful, thank you so much for your super chat. She says Michelle Fielding said the 3i Atlas is here to help us ascend. Right? Well, she's telling the truth. And quantum jump as past 60 because Dracos are in 60 and we need to pass them to have our peace. Your thoughts? Wow. Well, that part of her message does not align with the reports that I've been getting from the Galactic Alliance. Remember how earlier in the presentation I was describing how the forces of light always cleanse from the higher dimensions down? Well, it turns out that the reason the Earth is the last to be cleansed, right? The last battle takes place here is because we're in the 3D. So no, the Draco cannot exist in the 60. And let me tell you why. According to the law of one, right? 6D is not polarized at all. Okay, it is permeated and embedded by Christ consciousness, unity consciousness. It's impossible for the Draco to exist in the 60. So even the 60 has been cleansed. The 50 have been okay. Polarity only reaches up to the 50, and it's not as polarized. Beyond the 50, we go into what is known as a social memory complex reality, where everything is part of a coordinate cooperation, right? A unit organic consciousness while maintaining our individuality. So no, the Dracos don't exist in the 60. That part I do know for sure. Thank you for the super chat. Wow, you guys are being very generous today. Thank you for the super chats. Happy birthday with all the love and light to you deserve. Oh, thank you, Vicky Gray. I appreciate that, sister. Thank you. And then I have another super chat from 8623. What's your opinion on XRP? Well, XRP and XLM are the only digital currencies that are backed by gold and silver, which means that when the GCR takes place, as we enter the new Earth, um, all everything else, all digital currency will collapse except XRP and XLM. Yes, Shauna, 1985, also has the wrench. You are my second moderator. Okay, Shauna, so you have the power. If you see somebody being negative in the chat, you have the power to delete them. So I gave the wrench to Shauna as well as Starcadian. So now I have two moderators to keep those NPCs away. I'm getting a lot of happy birthdays. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Greg says the secret government is very powerful. The cosmic classes take you into space. Awesome. Thank you for saying that, brother. Oh, Galactic Jedi. Morse Fun says my birthday is tomorrow. Well, happy birthday. All right, this is a question from Judy Jean. She says, Ishmael, is the law of one the highest law? Yes, it is, because it comes from prime creator source. Is the highest creator God with the capital G? Yes. Source is a singular entity. Yes, it is a singular field that underlies all of existence. It is what many call the unified field, the Holy Spirit, which is the consciousness of God. Divine 8662 says, Happy birthday, Ishmael. Quick question, please. I understand that 3i Atlas referred to as 3i, third eye. Yeah, a lot of people are alluding to that. You never know that there could be a correspondence to the third eye chakra that allows us to become multidimensional. So that could be the case. Yep, yep. Thank you so much, Andrea Nardisi, for your super chat. I appreciate that, sister. Oh, another super chat from 8623. We are expecting our firstborn daughter on the 7th of December. Is there anything telling about this date and time she has chosen to be embodied? Well, she chose to when to come to the earth, just like you chose when to come to the earth. And not only that, but she also chose you as her parent. So she's going to be born in a time where she's going to experience is the ushering in, is the golden age. In other words, she's not going to experience the dark age anymore. So it seems like she's being born um, in a time where she's going to be experiencing only the golden age, which is a good thing. Happy birthday, mate. Grand Rising. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Mika J, for your donation. I appreciate that. And also Inanna for her donation earlier, and Susan K for your donation. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. I see all the happy birthdays here. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you. Another super chat from Jackie Baby. She says, "Happy birthday, Ishmael. You are a true patriot." Oh, thank you for that compliment. Thank you for that compliment. um, you want me to do another episode in Spanish? Okay, thank you for that super chat. Thank you, Greta Lord 860 for your super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you, Nathan Taylor 9714 for your super chat. In 5D, he says, "Will we be able to manifest food? And did anyone get any power?" Yeah, if you go to the 5D, you're going to be using the organic technology, which is the light body, which is very powerful, more powerful than AI. So yeah, you will be able to manifest with your own thoughts. You're going to be like your own replicator. Thank you guys so much. I see all the birthday wishes here. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I missed super chat by Joyful. No, I thought I answered Joyful. Yeah, I did answer it. Joyful was asking me, Ishmael, so what happened to our ascension this? Oh, okay. Wednesday, like you said, no, I didn't see that there was going to be an ascension. I see that there's going to be a cosmic convergence taking place where the Earth's electromagnetic field becomes weak and the sun's powerful flares come to the Earth when the Earth it's at its lowest electromagnetic weak point, which is going to spike consciousness. So that's what I said. I didn't say anything about no ascension taking place. What about children and people that are mentally disabled? How will they ascend? They're going to get a free pass, and they're also going to be restored. They're going to be healed from whatever it is that they're suffering from. And just to let you guys know, mental illness is not all that. It's not what conventional science says. Okay, a lot of these people that are diagnosed with mental illness have a lot of spiritual gifts, and it's just too unfortunate that all they want to do is give them, drug them up and stuff. You guys know what I mean. Um, Reading both your books and info is fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Again, if you guys, for all my new subscribers, these books are only like $24.99, under 25 bucks, guys. You can order our Cosmic Origin or The Secret Government. And that way it'll help you understand a lot of my lives. I did get a super chat from Rachel Plant. Thank you so much. She says, "Please explain what happens when we die. Happy birthday." Well, there is no such thing as death, guys. When we die, or when our body, our avatar decides to, you know, go away, we just transition into the next avatar or into the next life. Yes, it is unfortunate that Jamaica was devastated by that hurricane. I didn't get a chance to dive into that, guys, but I do know that it was a very unfortunate scene that took place in Jamaica in the last few days. So I hope you guys all keep the Jamaicans in prayer. Are the 12 stargates the same ones listed in the Keys of Enoch by J.J. Hurtak? Yes. In fact, the terminology that I used earlier, the 12 Meridian time orbs, are exactly describing the 12 major gates. So, yeah, the Keys of Enoch, the Book of Knowledge, written by J.J. Hortek, is a deep dive into all of this metaphysical and cosmological knowledge. I strongly suggest that you guys read that book. Now, just know that that book is super dense. It's even denser than my book. So, some of you guys might have to read it a few times to really, unless you read it with your third eye, then it'll directly be comprehensible to you. Excuse me. Yes, thank you so much. Shirley says, "Happy birthday, Ishmael." Um, Happy birthday from Bermuda. Does Bermuda have a Stargate? Absolutely. Haven't you ever heard of the Bermuda Triangle? That active Stargate was left behind after the collapse of Atlantis. It was actually misused by the Atlanteans at one point, but it was left behind. I do have another super chat from Rachel Plant 4401. Thank you so much, sister. She says, please explain what happy when we die happy birthday. Please explain what happens. Oh, what happens when we die? Well, like I said, when we die, we just transition into the next avatar. Richard Ware, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, keep on tracking, my friend. Always, guys. Always. Yeah, that's right. We don't have to die anymore, says Asuria Astasia. We don't have to die anymore. That is correct. This is our last embodiment. Due to the ascension, our bodies are going to be transfigured or integrated with our galactic avatar. So we're just going to look younger. We're going to age regress. And so, yeah, we are not going to be witnessing death anymore for those that make the ascension. Oh, there is a difference between the original book of Enoch, which is part of the Apocrypha, the non-accepted books of the Bible, and the Keys of Enoch. Those are two different manuscripts, by the way. Okay. The Keys of Enoch, also known as the Book of Knowledge, was written the last, I think, 25, 30 years, whereas the Book of Enoch, one of the unaccepted books of the Bible that didn't make the canon, was written 2,000 years ago. Okay, so those are two different manuscripts. Ishmael, what dimensions are Christians going to? Well, it depends. If they are real Christians, if they're living and talking according to the teachings of the Christ, then they will be going into the new earth, into the millennium. All the good people from all faiths are going to the new earth. If they're hypocrite Christians, if they just go to church just because everyone else is going and they're living their life in a way that does not align with the teachings of the Christ, right? They're hypocrites. They're constantly causing issues. They're narcissist, whatever. Then they're not going to make the ascension. So it all depends on the individual. Did I lock it? Oh, I'm sorry. Here. Sorry, I always forget. Are you done, Stargazy? Sorry about that, guys. I had to unlock the back door. I accidentally locked my lovey out. Says that I'm still alive. Yes, I am. Lynn Bubber says that her birthday is today as well. Well, happy birthday to you, Lynn. Somebody says Ishmael, excellent job on Charlie Ward yesterday. Oh, I didn't know he released that interview yesterday. Can you do it more often as they are all blown away? Sure, if I get invited more often. You guys give me a second. I do have to use the restroom, and I do want to continue answering questions. 1 second. 1 minute, I mean. All right, back to Q&A. When I have to go, guys. I've been drinking a lot of water today, so can you explain about these ascension portals? Oh, you must be referring to the major stargates, right? The 12 stargates. Well, those are the ones that open up the Earth's interdimensional doorways into the higher versions of Earth. So, one of the things that I teach in my cosmic origin class is that the Earth exists on different levels of reality all the way to the 12th dimension. So, when the 12 stargates open, depending on where you're vibrating, as mentioned before, some of you guys might be able to bypass fifth and sixth dimensional Earth and go into 7D Earth, 8D Earth, 9D Earth, 10, 11, or 12, depending on where you're resonating with. So that's what happens when the 12 stargates open. Now, this is an occurrence that has happened in other times in the past at the end of every dark age, initiating, of course, an ascension process. So this is an event that is about to take place again. Aren't they called the seals opening? I never thought about it that way. They could be called that. This is a good question from Greta Lord. Should people be trusting fully in the biblical texts, or have they been altered? Also, is Tigger a certain biblical text? Tigger people should refer to? I've never heard of Tigera. Uh-uh. Again, the Bible is written on different levels of understanding. It is right now, and for the most part, has been like a metaphor. So if you are reading the Bible with your third eye and you're using the guidance of the Spirit, which is the Spirit of God, then you will be able to understand it beyond its allegory, right? It will reveal to you its true message. But if you're reading the Bible without your third eye, without the guidance of the Spirit, um, then it's not to be taken literal, okay? Because then you're just reading it from a literal interpretation. So you have to understand it beyond its metaphor. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, the Bible unfortunately was heavily modified, rewritten many of times, and these are all records that stem from ancient records in previous immemorial cycles. Hey, Rue, what's going on, Rue? You want to say hi to the groups? You want to say hi? Come here. Want to say hi to the people? Say hi, Rue. Say hi. Say hi. No? All right, you go back down. You're getting a lot of love here, Rue. Thank you so much, Stephen Peter, for your donation. Appreciate that. Canadian Moose 90110. Thank you so much for your donation. He says, my wife and I have very bad body aches. Is this a part of Ascension? And should this keep continuing on when we get closer to Ascension? Those could be Ascension, physical Ascension symptoms. So you have physical ones, you have mental and emotional ones. And body aches is definitely a sign that your body is mutating. So, yeah, you guys could be going through some sort of a physical, experiencing physical symptoms. I have another super chat from Black Ferret Video. Hi, Ishmael. Greetings from Mainz in Germany. And congratulations to your birthday. Oh, thank you. You're doing a great job. Thank you for all your service teaching us what's really going on. Did you know your life is at 2 a.m. over here? No, I didn't know that. So that means you are up at 2 a.m. in the morning from Germany just to be here. Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. You could have always watched it on the replay, but thanks for being here. Appreciate that. That means a lot to me, Galactic Jedi. Thank you. So once again, guys, my workshop event is going to be taking place in Sedona on the 22nd of November. It's coming by quick, I think in 3 weekends from now. And for those that make it in person, you get $20 off. Okay. And you get to interact with me in person. So it's going to be 2 hours of lecture, giving a thorough the new version of our Cosmic Origin 2.0 class, which is going to be mind-blowing. And then the last hour is going to be reserved for Q&A. And then, of course, my lovey in the last hour is going to be doing crystal healing, energetic healing for those that are open for that. So it's going to be interesting and fascinating to be there. Now, for those that are just watching it on the stream, just know that there's only a few spots left. For $100, you get to watch it on the stream. Go to my website or cosmicorigin.com. Let's see, where was I? Thank you so much, Prince Divine Pleiadian, for your super chat. I met to the tip of the pyramid that the Earth Council and you met to the tip of the primed or pyramid. I don't know what that means. The Earth Council, and they said that the golden age starts on the 5th of November. Okay, is that right? Second opinion. There could be a strong possibility that the golden age could start any day now due to this rare convergence and this planetary alignment that's taking place at the end of December. But again, I don't want to give any time frames. All I know is that, we're there, guys. It's just a matter of time now, and we're all going to be experiencing this transition into the new Earth. But thank you so much for sharing that, by the way. Thank you, Melissa Harper 6124 for that super chat. Quantum sent a super chat earlier asking which Trump are we seeing on Air Force One. I am not sure. I'm going to probably report on that Monday during the White Hat Alliance report. So I'll let you guys know on Monday when I give a thorough White Hat update. But if it's being seen in Air Force One, that's probably the real Trump, not the fake Trump. Because again, the fake Trump is doing everything from a Hollywood set. There's a fake White House, there's a fake, what is it, state of the Oval State Room, right, where you have the American flag, and he's like sitting there on his desk, and the different people around him. That's all staged. Okay. Donna Jensen says, "Good evening, Ishmael and Monica, and all the Galactic Jedi's. Thank you for all, both of you, of both so good. Appreciate the information. Also, happy birthday, all you are welcome, sister." This is a question from Leah Renee. Ishmael, do you think that there's still going to be a Black Swan event? Absolutely, absolutely. So, if so, what do you think it will be? What do you think it will be? She says. Um, Again, I don't. They don't give me exact dates because due to the temporal wars, right? The war that is taking place in the future and in the ancient past due to timeline battles. Things are always fluctuating, but just know that the forces of light have secured the positive timeline. So it's just a matter of time now before we see the EBS, Gesera, Nasera, and all of that come in. What is the latest on the release of the med beds? Next week. They're asking next week. Um, I haven't gotten a report about the med bits for a while, guys. I've been too busy trying to get transmissions about 3i Atlas and what's going on with the Y hats. But I'm sure that once the Black Swan event takes place, the 10 Days of Darkness, and everything will be revealed, I'm sure that they're going to bring out all these technologies out. That's for sure. Thank you guys for all the birthday. Uh, Appreciate that. What happened on the 29th? And okay, you must be referring to when Atlas was at perihelion with the sun. Well, again, at the end of the 29th, as we went to the 30th, the Earth's electromagnetic field reached a weakening point where it was almost vanished, but it only happened for a few minutes. So, for that time being, for just a few minutes, those that were tuned perhaps had an expansion of consciousness, right? Allowing us to reach what is known as the gamma brainwave state. And I've explained the different states, the brainwave states last week, or is it two reports ago? So if you didn't get a chance to watch my presentation 2 days ago, I think it was Wednesday night, make sure you guys watch it. But yeah, that peak of consciousness was only supposed to last for like 2 minutes, guys. Okay, it was supposed to last. I didn't say it was going to be an ascension. I said there was going to be an opportunity where the veil was going to be so thin that we were going to be able to see into the other realities. That's what I said, which could have spiked a mass consciousness event. But apparently, it hasn't yet, but it's heading into that direction. All right, I have another question from It's Cast Michelle. Thank you so much, sister. She says, have you heard of a group called Omicron? Yeah, Omicrons. Those are evil cybernetic reptilians. The Omicrons are above the Draco. They are part cybernetic and part reptilian, and they work closely with the Animus, which is a synthetic race that has been taking over galaxies. The Omicron and the Dodecahron. The Dodecahron are like a mixture of cybernetics, AI, Draco, and insectoids. So Omicron, Dodecahron are actually really bad aliens or negative aliens. Let's see. Part of your question is Commonwealth Military Corp. No, I didn't hear about the Omicron Commonwealth Military Corp, but I've heard of the Omicron race. They are stating that they are working with Galactic Fed of Worlds, who contacted their chancellor 10 years ago. Well, I'm going to have to look into that, but I've never heard of the Omicron Commonwealth Military Corp. You know what? This is starting to sound much like the Advanced Contact of Intelligent Organization. Well, at least the highest echelons of that, which is known as the Labyrinth Group. The Labyrinth Group does work with a group of negative ETs that are now connected to the Galactic Federation of Worlds. So you must be referring to the Labyrinth group. I've never heard of the name Omicron Commonwealth Military Corp, but I have heard of the ACIO and the Labyrinth group, which is at the peak of the ACIO. So this sounds like them. Okay, I'm going to look into that more. Thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate that. So many questions, so many questions. I think I only have time for maybe one more. Thank you so much. People are still saying happy birthday. Thank you guys so much. Now, I do have a Zelle via my email, Project Restoration Zion. I don't use PayPal. I just have Zelle, right? So if you guys have Zelle, Zelle, if you guys Zelle it to my email, Project Restoration Zion at gmail.com, it goes into my account directly. So for those that want to, from the bottom of your heart, if you guys want to donate to my cause, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, one more question. Yes, today is All Saints Day. Thank you for that reminder. The Statue of Liberty being demolished. I never heard of that. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your evening. And I will see you guys in 2 nights for a Y-Hat Alliance update. May the God Force be with you all. And again, watch this from the beginning, guys, so you guys could get familiarized with the Galactic 226 million year cycle that we're also ending. One more super chat coming from, I guess that's it. All right. May the God Force be with you guys. We'll see you guys in 2 nights for the update on the Alliance.